So we still got like 5 seconds. Okay. All right. Let me start everything. Let me share my screen. Start the broadcast. And we're going to start here. Okay. All right. Welcome, scholars. No real announcements. We're just continuing with the next installment of our lessons. We're rapidly approaching the end, right? We don't have that many topics remaining. We're working on the corresponding homework for section 2.2 today. Next week, we'll work on section 2.3. The week after that is going to be exam 3. Somewhere in that mix is going to be Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving break. And then we have 2 sections remaining. It's going to be like section 3.1 and I think it's like 6.4. Then that's it. Then the rest of the time is just going to be reviewing, getting ready for the final and stuff like that. I don't have any information on the final just yet. All I know is that it's going to be cumulative. It's going to be pulling from content from the beginning to the end. I don't know if it's remote or in person. All I know is that it's cumulative. I don't know if I'm going to give it to you or if it's going to be a departmental final. So it's a couple of different ways that it can go. So you just kind of have to kind of be ready for anything, kind of be ready to be in a proctored environment, things of that nature. As usual, if you have questions, feel free to unmute yourself to get my attention or type in the chat. I will be monitoring the chat if you have questions or concerns about anything. And again, I'll check attendance again in about 15 minutes for people that are coming late. Let me check one more time. I think there's somebody in there. Peters. And let me get the attendance credit. Okay. Oh, let them in. All right. So we're going to do something a little bit different today. Just a little bit. So just catch the flow. Hey, Siri, give me a random number between 1 and 20.
A random number between 1 and 20 is 16.
All right. We're going to start with 16. And 16 we have like this. Okay, let me do this one. This was a little bit involved. Well, okay, I'll open the floor, right? Let me kind of start like this. So use the intermediate value theorem to check whether this polynomial function given below has a 0 on the interval from 1 to 2. If it has a 0 in the interval, approximate the 0 to 2 decimal places, right? So let me actually start off by opening a poll. Okay, general multiple choice. Yeah, that's correct. And then launch. Okay. So there's a poll active. Do you think the answer? So, just take a moment to think about it. And, do you think it's A, that there is no 0 on the interval, or do you think it's B, it has a 0? You don't have to give me the actual 0 just yet, but is the answer A or B? Let's take like 20 seconds to just think about it. If you guess, it's a 50-50 chance of getting it correct, right? And then chance favors the prepared mind. Let's just take about 10 or 15 seconds. Let's do the next one. I'm filling out. Ooh, interesting. Let's take another like 10 seconds. What do you think? Is there somebody in the waiting room? Grant. Okay. All right, so I'm going to close the poll. Let's see. Any other takers? I'll leave it open for just a little bit longer. Let's see. Okay. So for the intermediate value theorem, basically, I think what we said together was that this concept comes out of the fact that polynomials are smooth, continuous curves. So there are no sharp corners or edges and no holes or gaps, right? So to invoke the intermediate value theorem, what we're going to do, we're going to test those endpoints. If we can show that those endpoints have opposite signs, then there has to be a 0 somewhere between these x values, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave the poll open for right now. Actually. Here, there it is, okay. And I'm going to use my calculator, okay? So in my calculator, what I'm doing, I'm going to go to my y equals, and I'm going to put the original function in, 2x to the power of 5 minus 3x squared minus 10, okay? So let me say this real quick before I keep going. So one opportunity is to get the poll correct. That's one opportunity. And then if you feel like you actually know the correct zero rounded to two decimal places, first person to get it correct in the chat, you know, gets that opportunity, right? So if you get it correct in the poll, I'll give you credit there. If you get it correct in the chat, first person to get it correct in the chat gets the credit there, right? So if you can get the answer before me, you know, then so be it. Let me check the chat. Let me get a student. Okay, I think we got a contender for the chat. Let me see. No worries. It's okay. Okay. So I'll leave it open for now. I think the poll is still active. You definitely want to engage in that. So we have a copy. Let me see. 2x to the fifth minus 3x squared. Again, this was a little bit bulky, so that's why I'm kind of doing this one. So then now we want to test those endpoints. So we want to say, okay, when x is 1, what answer do we get? So I'm going to call on the function, and I'm going to plug in when x is 1, we get a negative result. Then I'm going to call on the function and evaluate it when x is 2. We get a positive. So again, we're working with the polynomial. Notice that when x is 1, we get a negative result. When x is 2, we get a positive result. So somewhere between 1 and 2, it has to cross the x-axis because polynomial functions are continuous, right? So if I go back to the poll, okay, I guess I'm going to close the poll. I think B is correct, and it's asking us to approximate the zeros. So in order to, let me see the chat, anybody put it in the chat? I think I'm gonna take the points off of the chat. Okay, it's no worries. So let me screenshot my poll results. Oh, no, I just want to see the results. Oh no, I think it might be gone. Oh, I think I lost it. Okay, I'm gonna reopen the poll because I didn't pull my results. So if you just submit whatever you had before, if you submitted it, just submit it again so I can kind of give you credit. Or if you didn't submit, you can submit it just real quick. There's one. I know there was at least one other person. Trying to give them a chance to redo that because I just didn't get the results. Go once. I guess I need. Let me leave it for a moment because I know there was at least one other person. Let me work over here while I'll give you all an opportunity to take advantage of the poll. Okay, so now if we want to approximate this zero, right? So what I'm going to do is look at the table. I want to have the table start at 1, and then I want to consider 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, and keep going until I get to 2. And I'm going to look for the line where the sign goes from negative to positive, where the sign changes basically, right? So I'm going to go to table set. I want it to start at 1, and I want it to change by 0.1. Okay, so now when I go to the table, see we got our negative 11, and notice all these results over here are negative, and then the sign changes right there between 1.5 and 1.6. Okay, so now I'm going to have the table start at 1.5. Then I wanted to show 1.51, 1.52, 1.53, and I'm gonna look at those results until I get a sign change. So I'm gonna have it start at 1.5, and I wanted to change by 0.01 this time. Now when I go back to the table, notice we got our negatives, and then the sign change is right there between 1.53 and 1.54. So because they want us to round to 2 decimal places, we need to zoom in one more time. So we're going to have the table start at 1.53, and then we're going to look at 1.531, 1.532, 1.533, so on and so on, right? So we want the table to start at 1.53, and we wanted to change by 0.001 this time, okay? So now when we look at the table, and we're looking for a sign change, and the sign change is right there. So we got 535 and 536. Notice that 535 and 536, both of those round to Both of those round to 1.54, right? So we're gonna go with 1.54. Let me check the poll. Did the other person submit? Okay, I don't know who it was. Okay, so let's submit 1.54. And I'm going to end the poll. So B is correct. I just want to view. Okay. That's fine, I guess. Yeah. Let me go like this. Just a moment. I meant to do this before I met with you all. Let me see. So we got okay. And let me check one more time. Download, view. Let me get rid of this. I don't know why I keep like download. Yeah, view. Okay. All right. So like this. Okay, cool. All right. So I think we got that one. Okay. Hey Siri, give me a random number between 1 and 20.
A random number between 1 and 20 is 9.
She has been saying 9 all day. I don't know what that means. Match the following polynomial with this graph. Okay, so this is this opportunity, it goes in the chat. So in the chat, can somebody identify the y-intercept of this guy? Right? Think about how do we find the y-intercept? Can somebody identify the y-intercept? Just take a moment to yourself. I'm going to start a timer. Let me mark these guys. All right, let's just start a timer. Let's take like 20 seconds. And first one to get it correct gets the credit. All right, so there is a vote. Let's see. And again, well, I think this is pretty straightforward, right? To find the y-intercept, we said x is 0. So then it's pretty quick. You just look at it, you see the results is -3. Let's go with that. Let me look at the credit. Keep it moving. Zoom out. Okay, let me start the poll. This is open to everybody. Right here. Relaunch the poll. Okay, so there's an active poll. Let's see. So take some time to yourself. Even if you have to guess, do you think that the result is A, B, C, or D? All right, so just take a moment to yourself to see if you can get this one correct. I'll give you about like maybe at least 20 seconds. What do you think? Ten seconds. Okay, poll is closing in 3, 2. All right, let's close the poll. Okay, So we got some takers. Okay, I think it's pretty unanimous with D. Before I submit it, let me think through it first a little bit. So if we use the leading term test, the leading term is going to be the term with the highest power, right? The highest power is a 6. So then if we look at the leading coefficient, in this case being -1, right? The leading coefficient tells us about the right-hand side of the graph. So because the leading coefficient is -1, that means our graph should go down to the right. So it can't be B, it can't be C. So we're looking promising. Then because the degree of the polynomial is 6, which is an even number, that means the other side does the exact same. Even means exact same. So if we go down to the right, that means we should also go down to the left. The only graph that's going down to the right and to the left is D. So that D is promising. I'm going to submit that one. Okay, let me see who gets the credit. Download the results. View. Let me screenshot. Give me just a moment. Okay, cool beans. On to the next one. Hey Siri, give me a random number between 1 and 20.
A random number between 1 and 20 is 11.
11. Let's see what's going on with 11 hip. Okay, so match the polynomial function with this graph. Use the leading term test. Y-intercept, right? That should be some free points right there. Y-intercept. So if I go to the chat, first one to give me the correct answer, let me just start my little, I'm gonna go to the next song though. That's so silly. We're gonna take a few seconds. What's the y-intercept of this guy? Oh, all right. So let's see who got it first. Got a little bit quick draw. Almost. Somebody else almost took it. Let me see. Okay, 14. Y-intercept, let x be 0. I can get down with 14. Looks like, let me see, Mr. Rents. There it is. Okay. We got a contender. Let's go with 14. That looks promising. God is good. Okay, but there's more points going to be available. We got a multiple choice, so let me launch the poll. Relaunch. Let's go. Right. So there's an active poll. Just take a few moments to yourself. See if you can use the leading term test to identify the correct graph. Right. So you got a 1 in 4 chance of getting it correct. Unless you choose to just choose something that's wrong. Let's take like at least 20 seconds to ourselves to think about it. I can see somebody like Nicki Minaj taking this beat and doing something ridiculous with it. Cardi, are they still beefing? Like, it seems like that would be such a good collab. Like, do they have collabs together? It just seems like they would be awesome together, Like all of them, Let's take. Okay, there's at least one vote. Let's take like 10 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, that's enough. Let's see. All right, so we got a couple. I'll leave it open for a little bit longer. There's at least 2 votes for A. Let's see. So if we use the leading term test, the leading term is a term with the highest power. Highest power is 3. So our leading coefficient is a +1. I'm going to go ahead and close the poll. A leading coefficient of 1, a +1 means our graph goes up to the right. So A is still promising. The degree of our polynomial is 3, which is odd. So that means the other side does the opposite. So then if it goes up to the right, it should go down to the left. A is promising. Let me submit that result. Check. Okay. And that's it. Okay, cool. I just want to view. I'm going to screenshot. Same contenders. Okay. Keep it moving. Okay. Hey Siri, give me a random number between 1 and 20.
A random number between 1 and 20 is 20.
20. Oh, okay. Let's see. Okay, so let me relaunch the poll. Okay, so there's a poll in Zoom that's available for everybody in the call. Okay, it says for this function, answer the following questions. Describe the end behavior of the graph. Choose the correct answer below. right? Let's take, I don't know, 20 seconds to think about this. So this is about as big as I can get it. All right. Let's actually, oh, is that the last song? All right, I'm gonna go back to the first song if I can get all the way back there. I'm probably clicking too fast. Let's do the first. Here, let me do this. Hey Google, play some non-copywritten quiz show music.
Sure. Here's a YouTube music playlist called Quiz Background Music. No copyright.
I'll let that one ride for like a few seconds. So again, there is an active poll. What do you think? Is it A? Is it B? Are we gonna piggyback? Or B? I don't know. Let's take another 10 seconds. I think it's closed. Okay. So let's see. We said that it falls to the right and to the left. Okay, so let's identify the leading term, right? So in this form, the leading term is not obvious. So we want to expand it, but we don't need all the terms. We just need the leading term, right? So if we just focus on the first term in each binomial, it's going to be x squared means there's two x's. So it's going to be x times x times x times x. So it's a total of 4 x's. So it's going to be x to the power of 4. And so then the leading coefficient is a positive 1. So that means it goes up to the right. The degree of the polynomial being 4, which is even, means the other side is the exact same. So it should rise to the right and to the left. I think B, the graph, I think B is not correct. So I can't get points out there. The graph, yeah, it should rise to the right and to the left. Yeah, I think it's C. Let's go with C. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's try again. That was okay. Let me zoom out some. I feel like that's visible. Let me relaunch the poll. So just take a moment to see if you can identify the correct result here. All right. Let's do the next song. Let's take 20 seconds at least. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 2.5, 1, 1.25, 12. All right, just trying to stall. Okay, that's good. I'm not sure if you guys have like Netflix or anything, and like so, I often find myself I like to watch like seasonal shows, like when it's Halloween, like stuff that's because the only time I'm going to be in the mood to watch it year round is around that season. So like some of my seasonal shows right now, I'm just bringing this up because this music made me think of one of the shows. It's a reality prank TV show called Prank Encounters on Netflix. It's starring Gator, the kid from Stranger Things. It's old, but it's fun. Like, they kind of have they have these targets for each skit or whatever, and they're unsuspected. Everybody else is in on it except for the target. Right. And so a lot of times they're like, it's their first day on the job, but they got them working like, in like a cemetery on the beach or a haunted like warehouse, it's just weird, crazy. It's a fun little show. This is really funny. So, shameless marketing for them. I low key like, cause like, you know, it was people that was like, again, it was temp jobs, their first day on the job. And I was like, well, damn, can I try to find it? Even if I was a cast member, I think I could be a cast member on it and like, you know, just put on some kind of hairdo or whatever. And like, yeah, so this is what we're doing, you know, like I'm one of the cast members. It just looked like a fun show to be on, you know, it looks like fun. Okay, so I think there are several votes for B. I'm going to end the poll. We had enough time there. Let's see. Okay, so we said the leading coefficient was x to the 4. Up to the right, up to the left. So we know it's not C. All right, so we can cross C out. So now, because of the way it was given to us, this was given to us in fully factored form, right? It was given to us in fully factored form. So that means that we can identify our x-intercepts quickly, right? So for instance, notice when x is 3, that's one of our x-intercepts. Because it has an even multiplicity, because its multiplicity is 2, that means when x is 3, it's going to bounce off the x-axis. So it could be A, it could be B. I think C is out of the running, right? Because it looks like C doesn't have, it's not bouncing when x is 3. Okay, so it could still be A or B. Another x-intercept is -1. Okay, so it can still be A or B. Another x-intercept is what? +4. So I think we had 3 and 4, so it can't be A because it doesn't have the right x-intercepts. So then B is promising. Let's go with B. Let's go with B. Check. You guys are smart. Okay. I want to pull this data, download. I just want to view. I'm a screenshot. Holder. Washington is taking a strong lead, but he has somebody right on his tail, right? Okay, let's keep going. All right. Okay, hey Siri, give me a random number between 1 and 20.
A random number between 1 and 20 is 6.
Okay, I think we got something different this time. Let's see. Okay, let me relaunch the poll. So relaunch. Go. And I'll probably choose, I can do this song again. Get some volume. Okay. Explain why the following function is not a polynomial function. Okay. Is it A, the function here? Yeah. Is it A, the function is not a polynomial because of the presence of the 4th root of x cubed? Is it B, the function is not a polynomial because of the presence of the 4x to the 4? Is it C, the function is not a polynomial function because there is no x term? Or is it D, the function is not a polynomial function because there is no constant term, okay? Let's just take like 10 seconds, right? Five, 4, 3, 2, and that's time. All right, we're gonna close the poll. Okay. Pause. That was good. I'm gonna reset that one. Okay. I think I resonated with A, right? Because we have that radical. That radical is gonna make it not a polynomial. So let me go with A. Check. Okay. Let me just see my results. Download the results. I just want to view. Screenshot. Colder and LeGrand. Colder and LeGrand. Colder and LeGrand. Okay. Oh. They are dueling dragons, right? The dragons are dueling. They are neck and neck. Okay. Let's keep going. But again, anything can happen. Like as long as you like are diligent, anything can happen. We had a special case earlier. Let me just, okay. So earlier, like I think one person had a strong lead and then this one question came up and it was like something in the chat. And so there's only one student was able to get credit for it and he like took the lead from there. And so like they was going back and forth too. I was just like, oh man. So yeah, it was kind of wild. Anywho, okay. Hey Siri, give me a random number between 1 and 20.
A random number between 1 and 20 is 2.
2. Okay, I don't think I've done 2 today. Let's see. For the following polynomial, find the degree. So this is one of those, all right? So the opportunities in the chat, let me check the chat real quick. Yeah, fear tactics. It could have. Oh, you mean the show? Are you talking about the show? I'm not sure what you're referring to. Fear tactics. Prank encounters. Yeah, it is fear. It's like because they have like monsters and zombies and like killers, but it's all a prank. It's fun. And then the fear tactics could be, I guess, like the dynamics of it, but anyway. Okay, so there's a question that's available right now. Whoever is the first one that could put the correct answer in the chat will get the credit. Okay, so it is open in the chat for right now. Just whoever submits the correct answer first. For the following polynomial function, find the degree, leading term, and the leading coefficient. So the first question is, what is the degree of this polynomial? Right? I'll give you like at least 10 seconds, maybe 20. Let me see this. Or it's called scare tactics. It could be. Now that does sound familiar. I might have to look that one up. Sounds like fun. But yeah, Prank Encounters was a fun show. Yeah, let's take a few more seconds. Can anybody tell me the degree? 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh, we're passing up on points. Okay. So the degree, I think okay. Somebody got it just in the nick of time. I was just about to close it. I think that's correct, right? So the degree of a polynomial is going to be the highest power on any variable, right? So the highest power here is a 5, right? Let me zoom out. Maybe it's because of let me close this out and then go like this. There we go. We got 5. Okay, if you want to do a quick draw and go ahead and answer the next ones, you can. That was Mr. So-and-so. Oh, he's like, I'm going to take him. Again, the thing about opportunities don't go away. They just go to who's next. If you don't take it, somebody else will, right? So can anybody identify the leading term of this polynomial? What is the leading term? Anybody identify now this one's kind of tricky. I'm going to give you at least 20 seconds. Let me go to the next song. This was a little bit tricky. So 20 seconds on the clock. I'm gonna let it ride because it's so silly. 10 seconds. Can anybody identify the leading term or guess? 5, 4, 3, 2. Let's do it again. 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh no, that's coefficient. Try again. Nope. All right. That is a silly song. Okay. So what you're posting are like coefficients, right? We want the leading term, right? Terms are things that we add and subtract. So the leading term is going to be the term with the highest power. The highest power is 5, right? So the leading term is actually, it should be 3/5 times x to the 5th. Because we're dividing by a monomial, you can actually distribute that 5 into the terms in the top. So the first term is actually 3/5 x to the 5, and the second term is 9/5 x to the 3rd, right? So then the leading term is going to be that. So that's why I said this one was kind of tricky. That's why I tried to give you a little bit of time. It's just not as obvious as the others. Let's close this out. Let me see the time. Now we got a solid 10 minutes, give or take, to try to get some more points out to people. We got 3/5 x to the power of 5. Okay. So I think nobody got that one, but that's okay. Okay. Now, so if this is the leading term, now can you identify the leading coefficient? We'll give you at least 20 seconds. Let's keep it going. Can you identify the leading coefficient? Oh, come on, guys, you can do it. 10 seconds. I see those results. It's still on the board. 5, 4, 3. Try it again. 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, that's time. No. Oh, nope. No, right? So we have the leading term showing, right? If this guy is the leading term, the leading coefficient is the number in the front. The number in the front is 3/5. So that answer was kind of trying to it was a primer, right? So the correct result here should be, I don't think anybody got that one either. Y'all are getting tripped up by the fraction. Remember, leading coefficient is the number in front of the leading term, right? And 3/5 is just a number, right? So, we were ignoring the 5. So it got everybody. The 3x to the 5th is the numerator of the leading term, right? So not to ignore the 5. That one was tricky, right? That one was tricky. So just dust it off. We got at least a solid 5 minutes. Let's try to get some more points out. I think we're neck and neck. Now, this hasn't happened all day, but let's see how it evolves. Like it still is anybody's game, right? We got at least 2 tied for the first, and we got somebody like right on you guys, like nipping at your heels to take the lead. Depending on which question pops up, especially if it's a question for like the chat, that's how you get ahead, is by answering the questions in the chat. The polls are just for everybody. That's just to stay in the running. But then if you want to get ahead, you got to get those chat questions correct. Okay. Hey Siri, give me a random number between 1 and 20.
A random number between 1 and 20 is 13.
13, right? It doesn't even feel like class. It feels like we're actually on a real game show almost, right? Oh, and it's a chat one. So that means that now there's an opportunity for somebody to take the lead, or for somebody, again, right now, 2 gentlemen are tied neck and neck for first place, and there's at least 1 gentleman on their heels to take their lead. If he takes the lead, he gets the points. And I'll explain everything at the end. Okay, so now this is a chat question. So first one to put the correct answer in the chat will get the credit. All right, so it's open right now, and I'm going to start reading it. And if you feel like you know the answer, you can put it. First one to get it correct gets the answer, gets the credit. Okay, so for this polynomial function, the first task is to find each real zero and its multiplicity. Find each real zero and its multiplicity. So notice that the polynomial is given to us in completely factored form, right? So then, can you quickly identify your zeros? Let's take at least 20 seconds. Oh, wait a minute. No question marks. We want to be confident, right? But it's not to, right? So try again. The zeros, right? So notice this polynomial is already factored for us. If we want the zeros, what value of x are going to make these zeros? You can actually just look at those. There's no calculation. You just look at it and then list out the zeros. I'm going to put some time on the clock. All right, let's go to the next one. I'm not feeling this one. I'm gonna try to let it ride now. 10, 9, 8. Oh, the zeros. Come on, this one is easy. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2. Again. 5, 4, 3. One more time. 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, that's time. Okay. 3. Let me see. If I submit 0, it's gonna mark it wrong. Okay. All right. I think he got it. He got it. Let's see. I was just about to close the poll. Let me see. 3, -9. Let's see. All right, you got it. Yeah, because if I put 3, it was gonna mark it wrong because it was gonna be missing the -9. So again, we were lucky, right? Okay. Let me do this disclaimer. So the concepts for this part. So, when we had class on Monday, I was like, hey, we only made it halfway through this section. It's a good idea to watch my pre-recorded lecture. The concepts from this question comes from that second half that we didn't have time to go through together, right? So you would only be aware of these concepts if either you watched my pre-recorded lecture and took notes in class. Took notes as if you were in class. Or if you've already done the homework for this section, then you would have come across this and you would have to research a little bit to find it. Or if you saw it before you came in this course, which there's a high chance that none of you guys have seen this stuff before, right? So again, you would only be aware of this if you either watch my pre-recorded lecture, the second half of it, or if you've done the homework for this. So that's why it's like this one, it's not easy, right? So the zeros, again, because this guy is already factored, if we set each linear binomial factor, if we set each one equal to 0 and solve, that's where the 3 and the -9 comes from. Because when we let x be 3, everything collapses to 0. When we let x be -9, everything collapses to 0, right? So the 3 and the -9 work. So then the next concept, once we have it in this form, notice that when x is 3, the multiplicity of 3 in this case is 3 because the power is raised to a power of 3. So with the multiplicity being 3, which is an odd number, what that means is that when the graph crosses the x-axis at 3, it's going to actually cross the x-axis because 3 is an odd number. When the graph crosses the x-axis at -9, it's actually going to bounce off the x-axis for -9 because it has an even multiplicity, right? Whenever a 0 has an even multiplicity, it bounces off the x-axis. Whenever it has an odd multiplicity, it crosses. Again, you really wouldn't be aware of that unless you watch my pre-recorded lecture and took notes, or if you've already done this homework and you researched and you thought about it, right? You wouldn't know it without doing those things because we just didn't talk about it together. So the multiplicity of 3, it has a power of 3, so the multiplicity there is 3. Okay, I'm going to kind of wrap this up because we're kind of out of time. The multiplicity of -9, let me see, I want a tiebreaker though. I want to try to give a chance there. I'm going to finish this one out. Multiplicity of -9 is going to be 2. Okay, let me try something. All right, so for B, so I actually just said this answer, so I don't know if it registered or not. The x-intercept of 3, is it going to cross or is it going to touch? So let me kind of relaunch the poll because we're kind of out of time. We'll take a few moments though. So if you feel like it's the first answer choice, you would submit A. If you feel like it's the second, you would submit B. Let me go to the next question. Let's take about 20 seconds. If you feel like it's the first one, you submit A. If you feel like it's the second one, you submit B. And again, this has an odd multiplicity, right? If it has an odd multiplicity, we said something just a moment ago, what happens, right? Okay. Once, let's take a few more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2. All right, we're going to close the poll. Poll is closed. Okay. All right, so I think the votes were for A. Let's go with A. It crosses an odd multiplicity. Let's final check. Okay, so an odd multiplicity means it crosses the x-axis at the x-intercept. Let me pull these results, and the next one should be some free points. View. Let me see my screenshot. Same gentleman. Okay, that's okay. Come on. And then let's relaunch the poll. So we got to get out of here. Okay. So then what happens when x at the x-intercept of -9? If you feel like it touches, which is the first choice, you would choose A. If you feel like it crosses, then you would choose B. All right. So just think about that. Let's do the next one. Let's take some time. Okay. So now notice with the -9, it has a multiplicity of 2. Right? When it had an odd multiplicity, we got one result. So then if it has an even multiplicity, what do you think happens? 5, 4, 3, 2. Come on, nobody got it. Oh my goodness. Even with the hints, I don't think I can get anybody to choose the other one, right? So the -9, it has a multiplicity of 2, which is even. An even multiplicity means it bounces or touches the x-axis. It doesn't cross. It should be A. Let me see. It should be A. I was trying to throw hints and I couldn't get any takers. So nobody got those points. Okay. We are essentially out of time. Let me get a screenshot right here real quick. We couldn't get the tiebreaker. I want a tiebreaker. All right. All right. I want to do a tiebreaker. We want to do a tiebreaker? Yeah. All right. I'm not going to do a tiebreaker. We could, but I'm not going to. It's okay. Let me see. What's a good way to get this to work? All right, so we're gonna let that be. Let me hop here for a moment. If I could just, all right, let's see if I can get this to work. I'm getting you guys out of here. Just give me just a moment so I can explain what we were doing. I know I just started doing it and I let you catch on. Share. Can I just copy the photo and just paste it? That would be nice if I could just paste the photo. Come on. You know you want to. Let's go here. Paste. No. Okay, let me try sharing AirDrop. AirDrop hasn't really been working for me all day. It worked like earlier, but then it just stopped working. It like takes its sweet time. Another option I guess I can do is this. Share this. This one, share. Yeah, let me send this to her. I'm just trying to pull the results up for you guys. This one. Let me. The simplest is if I give this AirDrop to work. Share. Come on. Yes, that's the sound. All right, that's good enough for me. All right, cool. So then if I go like this, and I think it's this one. Yes, let's crop. Okay, done. All right, so what we were doing was basically extra credit, right? So this is like, this is how I decided to do some extra credit. I've been wanting to do extra credit for a while, but I had to kind of like just think about it for a bit. And so basically what I've been doing today with all the students was basically like a little game show like we just did. And so, for instance, if you get first place, that's going to be worth 10 points, okay? Second place, it's going to be worth 5 points. And then if you participated, so if you got any points, whatever, I'm not spelling it all the way, that's worth 3 points, right? And so for the semester, basically, so the way I do extra credit, you could potentially earn up to 100 points. I'm going to scale that to count for 10% of your overall grade, right? So for instance, whoever got first place today, they earn 10 points out of the 100. Whoever gets second, they earn 5 points out of the 100. And if you earned any points today, you got 3 out of the 100. And I'll keep this on my records. It's probably a good idea for you to do that as well. And so let's tally up our results here. Okay. So I see Mr. Calder was like, he was coming for y'all. Like there was one question where he had an opportunity to take it, but he couldn't catch up. So that was fine. So we got 4 there. Mr. Hall, I think he got 1. So that's cool. He got on the board. And I think these 2 gentlemen were tied for first, right? And I think these are the people that were engaged today. So we got 2 for first place. All right. I was trying to do a tiebreaker, but I was like, I think this is the only class that had a dual first place, right? And so, but if I did the tiebreaker, then Mr. Calder would have gotten less points unless he won the tiebreaker. So I was like, well, I just went with a safer bet. So Mr. Calder, congratulations on getting first runner-up. And then congratulations on our 2 first place for LeGrant, Mr. LeGrant and Mr. Washington, and Mr. Hall, you get participation credit, okay? All right, gentlemen, are there any burning questions for me before we go our separate ways? Any burning questions? Once, going twice, forever, hold your peas and rice. Okay. All right, so if there aren't any burning questions, we're actually going to end the session here. And from one beautiful mind to another, have a great weekend, gentlemen. And we'll meet back next week, same time, same place for the next installment. Have a great weekend. Take care. Peace. Okay. So let me see. Okay, cool. Guess I can highlight so I can see these guys. Right, and let's do some outro music. We're gonna do just let it ride. Now some of these are actually good. Nope. I might just let that ride.